Well, hello, everyone. My name is Darren, and I'm one of the marketing coordinators with BCIT's School of Health Sciences. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this online information session for the Food Technology Program. I'd like to say how happy we are to see you all, and thank you for joining our presentation today. And feel free to post any questions or comments you have into the chat during the presentation, and we will do our best to answer as many as we can later at the end of the presentation in the Q&A segment. Just before we get going, I'd like to acknowledge that the British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam. Tonight's agenda is welcome and introductions. We'll do a quick video about the program. We'll watch one. We won't make one. We'll go through the presentation and program overviews. We'll get some information on program advising, and then at the end, we will do questions and answers. So right now, we'll watch the video. It'll just take me a second to switch my screen share.
Great job.
We have been making wines, and today we finally get to bottle it and drink it and have different flavors that different groups made. I chose food tech because you get to learn everything about food, which is like so exciting. I love being at BCIT and being part of this program.
Basically, food technology helps students work with food manufacturers to make food that is safe to eat and is of high quality. So here at BCIT, we teach the food technology students how to develop and implement the food safety and quality systems that are going to run. And we also teach them the various test methods for supporting those food safety and quality programs. Students that graduate in food technology work with food safety programs, and so they're trained to develop and implement them. These are very significant programs now for the food industry. And so our students are really capable of carrying those programs on and expanding them.
At the packaging line, we have to make sure that the product is at its highest quality and also that we're producing at the most efficient rate. So I love my job because I get to control the quality of the product and to meet the highest standards. When I started in the food industry, I realized that what I learned in the program actually is what I'm going to do. So you're prepared for the job.
The best kind of student for food technology is somebody that really cares about food. So somebody that might like to experiment with food, producing it and working with it. Just being that close to the food that we're producing, it really makes you feel good about what you do for a living.
Okay, now just before I introduce our speaker for tonight, Aaron Friesen, the program head, I'm just going to have a quick poll for everybody. All of these are things a food technologist may do except develop a vegan cream cheese, measure vitamin C levels in orange juice, recommend a diet for an elderly patient with diabetes, or inspect a pasta manufacturing facility. What wouldn't a food technologist do? And with that, I would like to introduce Aaron Friesen, the program head for the Food Technology Program. And thank you for being with us tonight, Aaron.
Thank you very much. And thank you everyone for joining. And just looking at this poll question, I think this is a good landing point to talk about what food technology is. And so food technology is understanding the science of foods. And looking at this poll question, there are a whole variety of different things that a food technologist could do. So we could be in product development, developing new products. And so food technologists might be working on developing a new vegan cream cheese. We also do look at the nutritional facts table. And so a food technologist is the one who's doing the analyzing and checking what exactly is in foods. So we do measure vitamin C levels in different foods, and we measure protein, we measure fats. So we're in the lab analyzing what is in foods. Now, the next one here, recommending a diet for an elderly patient. This now falls outside of the scope of a food technologist. So a food technologist will look at what is in food, will analyze the nutrients, but we will not make recommendations on a diet. So that's where a nutrition or a dietitian would be making those recommendations. So that is something a food technologist would not do. So 75% of you answered correctly, which is awesome. Now, inspecting a pasta manufacturing facility, a food technologist would do this, and environmental health, public health inspector would also be doing this. A Canadian Food Inspection Agency would be doing this. So a food technologist this could be part of your portfolio, but it's also involved in some other programs here at BCIT. So that one, I guess, maybe is a trick question. We do it as well as other programs do that as well. So moving along to the next slide. So I think as Darren mentioned, I'm the program head for the food technology department. So I teach in the program as well as I also do managing the program and running it. So looking here at what is food technology? So we're concerned with both the quality as well as the safety of food. So we do a variety of different testing on food. So this particular student here is looking at the texture of, it looks like maybe a dough product. So we do texture, we do color, we do nutrients, we do viscosity. So we're teaching you all the different components of how to test food. And so this could be either from a safety standpoint or a quality standpoint, because a company wants to be selling both safe and high quality foods. And we also then look at the food safety programs. So preventing food outbreaks, we do food microbiology. And so what do you need to do to select who you're going to be buying your ingredients from? And so a food technologist, in most cases, will end up working for a company that's making food that you will be buying in a grocery store. So when you walk up and down the aisles of a grocery store, a food technologist has been involved in that process, making sure that that food is both safe as well as high quality. So is food technology for you? Now, the actual industry itself is a fast-moving industry, but understanding foods requires quite a bit of science, and each food can be different. So if you're curious about science and want to have a place to apply chemistry, microbiology, a little bit of physics, we're understanding how foods work and what goes into them. So fascinated by science and curious, I would say food science and food technology is an excellent career for you. Process oriented and accurate. So when we look at the food safety systems and making sure that the process is operating, there is quite a bit of documenting and looking at different parts of the process. So you should be process oriented and accurate. Food industry works as a team. So you may be just a small portion of a food manufacturing facility. So if you're quality control, you'll be working with the production team, you'll be working with management, you may be working with sales. So you should be able to work both independently as well as part of a team. And the industry itself is fast-paced, exciting. There's lots of different companies in British Columbia. And so it's actually a quite interesting industry to work for. What do you need to get into the program? So we are a program that you can enter into right out of graduation, but you do need to have Chemistry 11 as well as Math 12. And so those are entry requirements, but if you have met those and have graduated from high school, then you can likely get into our program. You should have an interest for science because our courses do rely on some science knowledge, and have an interest in learning more about food and making sure that the food that we're eating is as high quality and as best as it can be. So the program overview, we're training students in the basics of food technology, food processing, food quality, food analysis, food product development, food microbiology. So if you look at our course website, you'll be able to see all the different courses in our portfolio. And I encourage you to look at the website and see if these courses interest you, because it gives you a good idea of what you'd be learning. It's a 2-year program. And so 2 years full time. So you would be here at BCIT from September to May for 2 years. There's a break in summer and a break at winter time in between the 2 semesters, but it's four terms. And it's a combination of lectures and labs. And I think what makes this program really interesting is that all of our courses have labs associated with it. So you get the theoretical knowledge as well as a lot of hands-on experience in each of the components that we teach you. Another thing that strengthens this program and makes it, you'll be leaving with lots of skills that industry needs is that we have an industry-sponsored project. And so in your second year of the program, you'll be working on a project all year long. So it's a one-year project. And industry may have a challenge with their shelf life. They may want to extend their shelf life, or maybe they want to develop a new product, or maybe they want you to strengthen part of their food safety program. So industry submits projects for the students to work on, and depending on what your area of interest is, we pair you up with an industry or a company, and then you would be working for the year as part of one of your courses, providing a report and working on whatever challenge or opportunity this company has. So it's a great way to gain the skills that industry is going to need you to have when you leave the program and then start looking for work. And just so what I've been talking about so far is our 2-year diploma. And if you do look on our website, I just want to mention that we do have a few other options as well. So maybe if you have a degree in food and you're not interested in doing another diploma in food, we do have a few other programs that I just want to highlight. So these are called flexible learning options. So they operate in part-time studies and are not as long as our 2-year diploma. And so just covering a few of these, we have a Food Safety Associate Certificate, which is a 15-credit program, and that will require you to take about 5 or 6 courses. So if you're interested in just learning a little bit about food safety and maybe have some experience in this knowledge, you may want to consider the Food Safety Associate Certificate. And then we also have 2 smaller micro certificates and micro credentials. So we currently have a joint UBC BCIT food safety management micro certificate, and that is a 4-course micro certificate. So once again, if you already have a food science background, food technology background, or coming from the food industry, you would need to have that experience in order to enter into this program, but it's a 4-course program strengthening your food safety knowledge. And so for that particular program, if you're wanting to apply for it, you're going to have to apply through the UBC, website. And then BCIT is offering one of those courses in that micro certificate. And I have a question what I might be able to answer here. So the internal auditing training course it's online, but it runs in a course format. So there's the virtual lectures that you'd have to attend. And so it runs live, but it runs via Zoom. So it's online in the Zoom format. Hope that answered that question. And then our last micro-credential is a BCIT Food Safety Preventative Controls micro-credential. And this of all of our options at BCIT for food, it's our smallest program. It's a 2-course micro-credential. So once again, if you were just wanting to learn a little bit about food safety, this micro-credential might be something you'd want to consider. But these programs do not have the hands-on lab experience that you'd be gaining in our 2-year diploma. So from a standpoint of employability, if you have no experience in food technology and food science, I would recommend the diploma to you, because that's where you're going to be learning a lot of knowledge about the food industry. These courses are for people who are coming from a food background. So career outlook, most of our students who graduate from the program get employment within 2 months of graduation. They have spoken about our program quite highly. We have high satisfaction with the quality of education that they're receiving in this program. The British Columbia industry has very large food manufacturers like the dairy industry, meat industry, and then we also in British Columbia have a lot of smaller startup companies. So when you go to Whole Foods, for example, and see a lot of the organic or specialty foods, a lot of those are located in British Columbia, and they're smaller food manufacturers. So our graduates are getting employment in these companies. And an option 2 is also to then be an inspector. So Canadian Food Inspection Agency also hires our grads to then go and inspect food manufacturers. So either working for the food manufacturer directly or inspecting them from a government agency is options with the program. Now, whatever option you choose, we are training you on the applied knowledge. So you will have the skills required that when you leave this program, you'll have the skills that employers are looking for. So just highlighting some of our graduates from our program. Now on the left there, 3 of those 4 individuals there graduated from the food technology program. And one of the courses we have in our food technology diploma is a product development course. And so that's where you come up with an idea and you develop, a product, and you work on the marketing associated with it, and you work on the formulation, you do a little bit of taste testing and figure out if the product is, suitable. And so these students took the product that they developed in class, which was Tempe, and they launched their own company actually as a result of what they produced while they were at BCIT, and they're doing quite successful. You'll likely see this product now in many grocery stores. They're still selling at farmers markets, but they are, that what they produced was as a result of something that they did here while they were at BCIT. So that's one of our examples of some grads that graduated, I would say maybe about 7 years ago from our program. We also have here a testimonial from a grad from, I think, 2 years ago now. So Andrew Williamson graduated from the food technology diploma, and he chose to study food technologies, food tech studies at BCIT because I wanted to utilize both my past educational experience in science and my interest in cooking. As with most programs at BCIT, the practical labs were the most enjoyable aspect, but I also really enjoyed the product development course in my second year, which is what I'm aiming to do later in my career. So Andrew graduated. He's working currently in produce manufacturer. So they are taking things such as lettuce, cleaning it, cutting it, and then providing them for, either salads, bagged salads, or selling it to restaurants who are using lettuce in their hamburgers, let's say, but they also do a variety of other produce as well. So he's working in quality, food safety and quality for that particular company. So for admissions, with the admissions process, I know each of you are going to be coming from a different background, and you may have questions about whether or not a particular class you have meets entry requirements. And we have somebody from program advising here who can help answer those questions. But we'll just highlight a few other things that we look at when we do admissions. So our program, the diploma, starts every September, and we take admissions or applications for this program from October 1st until the program fills up. And so we offer the seats on a first qualified basis. So if you meet the entry requirements and you're applying and there's still a seat available, you will be given a seat into our program. And then once the program fills up, we will then operate on a waiting. You'll be offered a seat and you'll be in a waiting period until the next seat is available. So if you're interested, recommend you apply early to guarantee yourself a seat in this program. So for the application process, you will need to review the entrance requirements, ensure you meet them, and then look to see if you're meeting the application dates. You'll need to complete, in this particular case, we have no additional information required. Some programs require you to fill out CASPER or mandatory questionnaire. We do not have those required, but you will likely need to so you'll need to get some of your, transcripts from your previous education. So you need to have that to document that you've met our entry requirements. You'll need to convert them to PDF files, and then you'll be submitting them in your application, which you can apply at bcit.ca/apply. So for this particular program, we have English 12 at 67%. or if you've studied in an English-speaking school, I believe for 2 years. And so that's where if you have particular questions about whether or not you meet entry requirements, you'll want to reach out to program advising. We also have a requirement of chemistry 11 at 67%, and we have a math and different ways you can meet that math requirement, pre-calculus 12 at 67%, or foundations of math 12 at 73%. Once again, if you're applying from another country, you'll then want to see if what you've taken in your other country meets those entry requirements. And then not necessarily required, but in order to be successful in this program, communication skills, writing, listening, reading, and writing are important to be successful in this program. We do some analytical chemistry. And so if you are, if you enjoy working in a lab, this will help you be successful in this program. Pay attention to detail. The food industry does require problem solving. Something goes wrong on the production floor and you have to make a decision on whether or not the company can still continue to use this product, or does this product now need to be a waste product. So decision making are skills that you will gain in this program, but it also needs to be something that you're interested in, being able to make those decisions. And then, as I mentioned, our program, both in the program while you're studying at BCIT, there will be team projects. And this is because when you work in industry, you will be, one person as part of a larger team helping produce these foods. So you need to have people skills in order to work with other individuals. So the admission process, you will apply, and then within 2 to 4 weeks, these are going to be reviewed. In our particular case, these admission processes handled purely by BCIT admissions. They will be making a decision on whether or not you've met the entry requirements. We do not shortlist applicants, and once you meet the entry requirements, you'll be sent an acceptance letter. So at BCIT, we have different options for education. And as I highlighted, we have our micro certificates and our associate certificates. So that's, if we look at this slide over here, that's the smallest and easiest to obtain programs here at BCIT. The Food Technology Diploma is a 2-year program. And if you're interested in doing additional studies, it does ladder into other programs. And food technology will ladder into, I would say, about 5 or 6 different programs here at BCIT, but some of them are quite different in nature. So they ladder into forensic sciences, for example. But the 2 program areas that we encourage, and we have had grads, a lot of our grads do go and explore if they're interested in a bachelor's degree and don't currently have a bachelor's degree. Now, we do get a lot of people who are applying to our diploma who already have bachelor degrees from other countries or bachelor degrees from here and are looking to gain specific training in the food industry. So if you already have a degree, I would still encourage you to apply for the diploma because you'll be gaining lots of hands-on skills and very employable skills. But if you don't have a degree and find yourself later wanting a degree, the 2 opportunities that the Food Technology Diploma ladders, more logically into is the Bachelor of Environmental Public Health. And so that particular program, you would be inspecting restaurants, inspecting potentially food manufacturing facilities, inspecting swimming pools, beauty salons. So there's a variety of different things that would be covered in that particular program, and you would be employed as an inspector inspecting those facilities. And another program that is one that some students go into is the Bachelor's of Technology Management. And I noticed here that the other one that's not listed that we currently do have a laddering option available for is the Bachelor's of Business Administration. So the food technology program now has a laddering option into a BBA. So if you are working, let's say, in the food industry for a few years, find yourself in a management position. So maybe you're production manager or purchasing managers, because you may find yourself in different positions. The Bachelor's of Business Administration would also be an excellent option for you to consider and teach you the management skills that the company would be interested in having.
Thank you very much, Aaron, for that. I really appreciate all that excellent program information. I'm just going to take over just for a couple of minutes to share some
Yeah, no problem.
supports with the students, so you can have a drink of water or something before we get to the Q&A. Thank you so much. And now, everyone, moving from the academics, I'd like to let you know BCIT is committed to supporting students in a holistic sense. We want you to succeed not only in your academics, but also outside of school. Some student services are available to you as a prospective student, and others will be available to you once you become an enrolled student. And here's some important student supports I'd like to mention. If you are Indigenous, BCIT's Indigenous Initiatives Department is there for you to ensure a smooth transition into your first year. They offer peer-to-peer mentorship, a welcoming gathering place, and provide clarification on Indigenous funding. BCIT's awards, scholarships, and bursaries are listed on our financial aid and awards webpage. And I'd like to mention that we have a President's Entrance Award, and the selection is based on academic achievement, but also volunteer and community service. And please contact financial aid directly for more information on that. BCIT is committed to providing assistance to students with permanent or temporary disabilities. And if you've been accepted to a program and believe you may need accommodation to be successful, I encourage you to contact our Accessibility Services Department. And BCIT's Student Health Services is a health clinic located on the Burnaby campus, and they provide medical care for current BCIT students all year round. And we also have a counseling and student development department available to help you enhance your educational performance and maximize your success as a student at BCIT. These would all be very confidential. Our recreation services promotes, encourages, and enables the practice of physical well-being, and we consider recreation an integral part of campus life, and I welcome all students to enjoy their services. And I believe they had just opened the new climbing wall, so I'm sure that's very popular right now. And I just wanted to mention, please don't hesitate to contact Program Advising if you have a question or unsure of anything. They can answer questions regarding entrance requirements, the application process, student resources, success strategies, program schedules, and many other things. And they're available to assist you on specific days by telephone, email, or in person, or virtual appointments. So please go to the web page, bcit.ca/advising for their most up-to-date contact information and service hours. And if your inquiry is time sensitive, please call during the telephone advising hours, and that's the best option to get your questions answered quickly. And aside from that, we would love for you to connect with Health Sciences on social media. You can go to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, or LinkedIn. We'd always love to hear from you. There's lots of new student testimonials and things going up all the time, and learning fascinating things that are happening on campus.
If I can interject there also,
Please.
Food Technology has an Instagram account. So if you are curious to know what labs we're running or what a typical lab might be for students, we're trying to keep, our Instagram account active. And so you'll be able to see what we do by following us there as well.
Very sorry for not having that on there, but thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate that. And you can learn more about BCIT and the campus at bcit.ca. There you can find out about tours. Spend a Day program is in effect for a few programs. You can just be a student for a day, find out what it's like.
Can I pop in there? So
Yes.
Food Technology does the Spend a Day also. So that's another option too, if you're not sure if Food Technology is for you. If you sign up for this BCIT through that link there, Spend a Day, you are welcome to come join one of our current classes and follow them to their lectures and labs and see what a day would be like for a food technology student.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Good to know. And of course, you want to catch a big info when it comes around twice a year, and more info sessions like this one at info sessions, and of course, advising, where you can get answers from a program advisor. And thank you for your patience with all that information. This brings us to the questions and answers segment. So if you have any questions, please type them into the chat for to everyone, or if you prefer not to write, you can also unmute yourself and just speak the question if you want. I haven't been keeping much of an eye on the chat, but I believe Bhavina from Program Advising has been, and let's see if she's answered anything or if we have any questions outstanding.
There is one question, and the question is regarding someone who's already who's completed a degree. Do they need their high school grades to apply to the program? The answer is no. You can use your university transcript as long as they prove that you've met the entrance requirements. So for instance, for the English requirement, if you've taken a university level English course, 3 credits worth, and you meet the minimum grade requirement. For math, if you've taken pre-calculus, calculus, or linear algebra at the university level. And then for chemistry, if you've taken a university level chemistry course and you meet the minimum grade requirement, you can just use your university transcript. You don't have to use your high school transcript.
I was going to say, regarding the second point there, the co-op work permit, we do our directed studies projects, and I believe this might only be for international students as part of the application process, because you would be doing an industry project. You're going to be getting a co-op work permit as part of that application process. So I believe it's something that kind of gets bundled into your application. So if you were a domestic student, you wouldn't need to apply for the co-op certificate. And I don't know if you have anything more to add on that.
No, I would just say that if you've got questions regarding permits, to contact the International Student Center.
And then there's a question here about the start date of the preventative controls and HACCP plans micro-credentials. It's an excellent question. That micro-credential is made up of 2 courses, and the very first course is a course that you can register at any time. So it's an online course that's self-paced, and whatever date you register for it, you would then have 6 months to complete it from your date of registration. And then the second course in that micro-credential is I want to say in person, but it's via Zoom right now. We offer that course about twice a year. And so you'd have to finish the first course. And then once you finish the first course, you could then apply for the second course, which would be delivered via Zoom. And we just ran that course last week. So it wouldn't be offered. The second course wouldn't be offered again until the spring sometime. And so we don't have the date set for the next offering of the second course of the micro-credential.
I'm not seeing any more coming in. This is a great chance. You have a program head and advisor online. If you have a question, this is a great time. But if not, we can always let everyone go early and get some minutes of your life back. I'll just give a couple more minutes in case anyone thinks of something, or maybe they're typing. But I do want to thank Aaron and Bhavina for being with us tonight and sharing your knowledge. Much appreciated.
And I don't know if my email address was listed on here at all, but please, if you guys have any questions, maybe it's, oh, there we go. There's my email address. Please email me if you have any particular questions about the program. You're welcome to always come make a visit with me at BCIT, and I'm happy to show you our facilities if you have any questions. So just reach out and I'd be more than happy to show you around or answer any questions you have.
Thank you, Aaron. Great call on the emails. So it seems pretty quiet in the chat. Oh, here we go.
How many hours per course for the food safety management certificate? So every credit at BCIT is 15 hours of course lecture time, I guess, if you want to call it that. So 15 credits times 15 would be how many hours of class session there would be. And then you'd have homework on top of that.
The rule of thumb usually is so for every credit, you should be allocating 3 to 4 hours of study time per week. That includes the time that you spend in class. So for a 3 credit class, anywhere from 9 to 12 hours a week.
And then the next question here is about the food safety management micro-credential. And so that's the joint one with UBC and BCIT. And their next cohort will be starting in spring. So we're going through a cohort currently with that one, and the next cohort would be starting in spring. So please do consider looking into that one. And then, like I said, the year where you're going to find more of the information for that particular micro-credential is through the UBC website.
Okay, thanks, Aaron. Looks like we have one more question. I'm coming from an accounting program at BCIT. I'm wondering, sorry, there's emojis jumped up in front of me while I was reading. I don't know why. If any of the credits are able to transfer, or the entrance requirements such as OPMT. I don't know why my screen is getting covered up by strange icons. Sorry, maybe you better read the question.
I can answer the first half of the question. So they're wondering, they're in accounting and they're wondering if any credits can be transferred or if they can be used towards the entrance requirements. So OPMT 0199 cannot be used towards the math requirement. That's a business math course. If you're in the accounting program and if you've taken COM 1100, 1103, or 1106, you can use that towards the English requirement. And then the second part of that question was about the chemistry 11 requirement, if they're able to take the course at BCIT or if they have to take it at adult education. Unfortunately, we do not offer chemistry 11 at BCIT. So your option is to either complete it through your local school district and do the upgrading. You can also take it at another college or university that's offering the upgrading course, or you can take it through Online Learning BC, which is a database of all the different school districts and organizations that offer upgrading courses. They offer the Ministry of Education approved upgrading courses. I will put in links to each of those in the chat so that if you want to browse around to see what your options are, you're able to do so.
So there's a question here about cost. And so I would say the cost of UBC and BCIT courses is similar. So it would really be how large of a program do you want to take? So the BCIT Food Safety Associate Certificate is about, five or six classes. The UBC BCIT Micro Certificate is 4 classes, and then the Preventative Controls Micro Certificate is 2 courses. So then, cost wise, that's going to be your difference, is that the larger program is going to cost more. The one thing that is interesting too is if you are considering one of the micro certificate options, the UBC/BCIT Micro Certificate, or Micro Credential, I guess it's called, is currently being covered by a BC Futures grant. And so the government of British Columbia is providing funding to students who train in certain programs, and that joint micro certificate from UBC and BCIT is covered by the grant. So if you have not applied for any other grants and if you've not used that money, this money is available to all British Columbians who are interested in studying something. And that particular program actually works out to be no cost. So it would be free for you to take if you were interested in doing that UBC joint, the UBC/BCIT joint micro certificate. And so once again, I can help you through that process if you want to email me. Otherwise, I would look at the UBC website because that's where you would be applying for that particular program.
Great. Thank you so much, Erin. And that kind of takes us to our time. I'm not seeing any new questions in the chat.
There's one more question here. Oh, sorry, I have a direct question here. It's asking whether or not all their certificates are online. And I would say mostly online. If you do the Food Safety Associate Certificate, you may, with some of your elective courses, have the option of doing in-class courses. But the other micro certificates, most of the courses are either self-paced and you're working out through the material on your own, or you're joining in with an online class. So a lot of the classes are online, with the exception in the Food Safety Associate Certificate, you may have the option of taking an in-person class.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Erin. And I just wanted to say a reminder that a copy of the slide presentation and a link to the info session video recording will be sent out to everyone who registered in the next week or two. And I want to thank you all for being with us today, and we wish you all the best in your future in health sciences. So thank you so much. Have a great night.